to the ultimate travel guide on the best time to visit Canada. In this video, we're going to explore the various seasons and their unique charms to help you decide when the best time to visit this stunning country is going to be for you. Whether you're into vibrant fall foliage, splendid summer activities, or a more of a winter wonderland landscape, we're going to find something today that is going to be perfect for your next travel. Now, I've lived in the Canadian Rockies for the last 2 years, so the information in this video is going to be tailored to life in the mountains and the Canadian Rockies, but the information will still be general enough that you can still apply it to other areas of Canada if that is where you're going to visit instead. So let's get into it, and I'll give you the information that will hopefully help you plan your next dream trip. So the first and arguably the most popular season in Canada is summer. Summer is when you are going to experience Canada at its liveliest. This is where you have endless daylight hours, thrilling outdoor adventures, the beauty of all the natural wonders just really shine in this season. From hiking in the Canadian Rockies to whale watching out on the coasts, there are so many beautiful activities, and this is when summer is brimming with adventure. As we go through the video today, I'm going to start with the best things about the season and give you all of the pros about visiting at that time of the year. And then I'm going to give you a few considerations or cons to think about as well, so you have all the information you need for climate, activities, and accessibility during those times. So by visiting Canada in summer, you are going to have the most consistent chance to have lovely weather. Weather is going to be its warmest, and it's going to be hopefully mostly sunny for you. Now, if you're coming to the Canadian Rockies, you always need to be prepared for all types of weather conditions because things are unpredictable out here. But summer generally is the nicest in terms of weather to come and visit if you are looking for a warmer climate. If you're coming to Banff specifically for summer, this is when that main street of town closes to vehicles. Now, if you've seen postcard shots of Banff where there's no cars on the road and there's flowers down the center, that is summer. That road is not closed all year round, but in summer it does, and restaurants spill out onto the streets. There's a lot of street front dining, flowers just come out everywhere, and it is just such a nice experience for us to spread out onto the road, have space because it does get super busy, and to be able to get those postcard shots that you have probably seen in everyone's photos or advertising. On top of that, summer is when you get to experience those beautiful, magnificent turquoise lakes that are what Canada is known for. Especially out here in the Rockies, the lakes we have are just phenomenal, but they are frozen for majority of the year, so you can't see them all year round. Being here in summer is your best chance to witness this and to be able to see these beautiful areas. It is also when the water is the warmest, so if you want to go for a swim, you absolutely can. It's still going to be freezing, but it is lots of fun to be able to take a dip in an alpine lake. One of my favorite things to do. Now, on top of that, Moraine Lake is only open for summer, basically. It opens about early June and then closes about mid-October. The rest of the year, this lake is inaccessible. Now, if you are going to visit in summer, you do need to be prepared because you can't drive there. You can only visit by private shuttle. Now, if you want to learn more about that, I'm going to put a link in my description below. It is for the Moraine Lake Bus Company. This is a local run bus company and one of your best shuttle options to get to the lake. I'm going to put a description down there to purchase tickets if you're already in that planning phase. On top of that, summer is when you are going to have the most access to tours, public transport, shuttles, anything you need. Services are most available during your summer months because that's where the demand is. I have a full link on my channel about transport options in the area. You can check that out. I'll pop it up the top there for you now. But I'm going to go into a couple of things you need to also consider because summer is amazing, but there are some downfalls with this season. Considering summer is such an amazing month to visit, you need to be prepared that August and July are two of the absolute busiest months in town. In Canada in general as well, I would imagine, but here in the National Park and in the Canadian Rockies, July and August are just crazy busy. Now, what that means is that you need to be prepared that accommodation costs might be up to double the price of low season rates. A nightly cost for a room is going to be extremely high, so that is something you need to budget for or prepare for. I do have a budget in Banff video up as well. I'll pop it up the top if you're looking to do this but save money. There's some good tips in there. But it's also going to come with other considerations you need to make, right? We do have lots of amazing dining in Banff, beautiful restaurants. If you're coming in peak season, you may need a booking or be prepared to wait on a wait list for a lot of those. Another thing I want to bring to your attention is the risk of wildfires and wildfire smoke. Now, we have been fairly lucky in the Canadian Rockies this season. There have been lots of wildfires burning around Canada, which is just devastating. But that smoke can travel for ages. So even if you are coming to the area and there's no fires around here, there seem to be wildfires every single summer, and the chance of that affecting your trip can be quite high. I know a lot of people this season who came to town and had trips like the Rocky Mountaineer cancelled or couldn't go over to BC because there was really out of control fires burning there, which is just horrible. But it also sucks if, you know, this is your bucket list trip and you can't go somewhere, or you can't even see the mountains around us because the wildfire smoke is that bad. That is something to be prepared for. It is a risk. It is something you have no control over, but I do want to bring that to your attention for summer. Next, I'm going to talk to you about fall. My personal favorite thing about fall, living out in the national park here, is larch season. Now, if you don't know what a larch tree is, it's basically a type of pine tree where the needles are not evergreen like most are. The needles will turn from green to gold during this specific window in fall. Generally here, it is about end of September to very early October. It's only a couple weeks, but these fields of trees and like valleys just go golden. It is so beautiful, and it is such a special opportunity. So if you're a hiker or an outdoor enthusiast like I am, this is a time of year that is so worth visiting. You know, the lakes haven't frozen yet. You can still see that. You can go and do these picturesque hikes, and it's also going to be less busy. Fall is starting to get into shoulder season in Canada, and it is a time where you will have potentially cheaper accommodation, more space on the roads and the trails because people are going back to school and work and things like that after summer. And it's a time where you can escape the crowds a little bit more. Fall is also a time when you can experience a bit of a variety of weather conditions, which might be interesting to you if you want to see snow but not come in winter. Now, fall is beautiful because there still starts to get that little bit of snowfall, but the temperatures are still pretty mild. That snow is probably not going to stick around for ages until more later in the season, but it is a good chance to get a variety of seasonal experiences while you're here. If you're interested in skiing or snowboarding, towards the end of fall here in the Canadian Rockies, the ski hills do open and you can start getting out on the slopes and getting some of that early season riding in. Now, I love early season riding because it is a great way to get out on the slopes, have it pretty much to yourself. Like it's quiet, it's chill, and the conditions can still be phenomenal up there. Another thing I love about fall is that it is a great time to come and spot wildlife. We have so many beautiful animals here. If you ever do, make sure you keep your distance and are prepared and know how to react and respond. But this is the time of year where they're starting to kind of forage and stock up on supplies or eat a lot before they go into hibernation or before winter hits too hard. So it's a great time to come and see them as well. Traveling in fall does mean you need to be prepared for a variety of weather conditions. You know, you could have summer-like weather or it could be full-blown winter weather. On top of that, transport around this season may be a little bit difficult to navigate. This is kind of the overlap where summer operations are starting to wind up and close down for the season, and then there's going to be a break, and then winter operations are going to start up. So depending on when you are coming, you need to look into all of that yourself and make sure you are able to get around and get to the places you want to go. But that is something to be mindful of, because there's nothing more frustrating than coming somewhere thinking you're going to be able to get around and you can't because they've shut for the season. Another thing to note with transport, if you are coming after the 1st of October and you are coming specifically to the national park here, you do need to have winter tires. If you're renting a car, this could result in extra rental costs potentially, but it is something you need to look into and be aware if you're driving in snowy conditions, because it is a legal requirement at that point as well. Next up, I'm going to talk to you about winter. Now, I think winter is such a special time of the year, especially if you grew up in a country that does not have a white winter. So I grew up in Australia and we don't get snow. Like, not really. It goes on, 4 of the ski resort hills we have, but it's not a casual, it's not an everyday thing. Like, winter is not snowy. So if you're coming here from a country that is similar to that, I think winter is so cool and it is such a special experience. I remember being so excited the first time it snowed here, and just seeing everything blanketed in beautiful white snow is just an unforgettable experience. Even though things slow down a little bit in the winter, there is so much to do here, from skiing to snowboarding, tubing, wildlife spotting, going out and hiking, or doing winter like frozen waterfall hikes, things like that. There is so much activity that you will not get bored. The biggest offering in Canada, I think, for winter activities is skiing and snowboarding. There are so many incredible resorts where you can go out and experience some of the best conditions in the world. The snow is just so phenomenal out here. If you're coming to the town of Banff specifically, we have 3 resorts nearby: Mount Norquay, Sunshine Village, and Lake Louise. All 3 are within 40 minutes of Banff and have very different terrain and riding, so that is a really cool thing if you're coming here for a ski or snowboard trip. Now, if skiing or snowboarding is not your thing, tubing is one of my favorite activities. Whether you are going with some friends, your partner you're traveling with, or your family, this is such a fun winter activity. I've done it at Mount Norquay here in town, and it was a blast. And I've also done it out in BC at Silver Star Resort, and I love it. Like, it's just such a wholesome winter activity you can do. There's also the opportunity to do things like winter hiking or ice walks. Now, ice walk tours are one of my favorite things. My favorite one so far has been Moraine Canyon, that's out in Jasper National Park. But it was a tour where we got geared up, we got little spikes on our feet, and we went down into this frozen canyon. You're walking on a frozen riverbed, and then there's all these frozen waterfalls that have cascaded down beside you, and it is so cool. There's little ice caves. We went down this ice slide, quite literally, and it's such an amazing thing to see. Another thing I love during winter is ice skating. If you're coming to the area, there are rinks in Banff National Park you can use for free. There's usually 2 outdoor rinks. You can go skate on Lake Louise, which is one of the most iconic experiences, and this is the only safety maintained frozen lake in the Rockies. If you are coming to other places in Canada, I'm sure there are skating rinks all across the board. It is such a big thing to do during winter as well. Now, if you are super lucky, there was a period last winter where it was so cold, all the lakes froze, but we hadn't got snow yet. So this was the best week. It was I think it was a week or 2 where we had access to these lakes that were just pristinely frozen. I'm talking clear blue ice, the most pristine conditions. It's almost scary and nerve-wracking going out on lakes when they're like that. But I did a lot of wild ice skating. Now, if you're ever doing that, you need to make sure you are being absolutely safe. But you can check out this video on my channel. I'll link it up there for you now. But if you're here during that, perfect conditions for skating on wild ice, I think it's one of the favorite things I've ever done during winter. If you are coming in winter, you do need to be prepared. It gets cold, and by that I mean cold. Winter in Canada can get as low as -30. Now, that is not a consistent -30, but in the Rockies here, we do get a few cold snaps where it gets that low. It's pretty much around the negative teens most of winter, I would say, from memory. But that just means you need to be prepared for it. You need to have appropriate layers and plan your days accordingly. On top of that, daylight hours in winter are a lot shorter. Now, at the peak of it, the sun will kind of be coming up, and it'll be getting light around 9:30 a.m. and then it will be getting dark again around 4:30. Now, that is at its worst, but that does mean that you are going to have less time to go out and do things, less time for tours, less daylight hours in general. Now, I still think it is a beautiful time to come and explore, but compared to summer months where it is light for just hours and hours and hours on end, and you can still be hiking at 10:30 at night with daylight, it's a very different experience. Another thing to note is that winter has a lot less transport options available. There still are really good choices for you, and I have a full video breakdown of that on my channel. I'll link it at the top. But it is a lot less frequent services, and some services completely stop over the winter. You should still be able to get around for the most part, but just make sure that whatever you are coming to do, you have the ability to either drive there yourself or to organize through a company to get there, and that is something you need to forward plan. Finally, I want to talk to you about spring. Now, as winter retreats, this is the month where wildlife awakens and everything starts reblossoming and blooming around us. Here in the Rocky Mountains, spring is an amazing time to still come and see snow, but have warmer weather at the same time. Our ski season here runs until the middle of May, and it is a great time to come if you want warmer weather, but still awesome riding. Spring skiing is phenomenal. Snow gets a little bit slushy, but it is so much fun. Because there is such a variety of weather experienced during this time, this could be a good way to come and see kind of all the seasons of Canada in one trip, you know, to some extent, but it is kind of fun. My parents came and visited one year in spring, and we had gorgeous sunny days, and then we had snow overnight at the gondola, so they got to, you know, witness that as well. Spring is also considered a shoulder season here in Banff National Park, and around Canada things will get quieter over spring, so this could be a good time to come. Accommodation might be a bit cheaper for you, crowds won't be as bad because a lot of people are waiting for summer, and then you will get a bit more of the place to yourself. This is also an awesome time to come and spot wildlife. This is when they're all kind of re-emerging and, you know, getting ready for the summer. Finally, the things to consider in spring. Similar to fall, transport options are unpredictable, as this is also a shoulder season. This is when your winter services are wrapping up and then summer will be starting. So make sure you're planning your trip based on the availability of getting to where you want to go. This season also has very unpredictable weather. You know, you can get from snowy conditions to summer conditions as well. I feel like a bit of a broken record saying that. If you're coming to the Rockies, just prepare for all weather regardless. But this is also a time where some things may still be closed from winter. Now, during winter, there are specific road closures and area closures, either for wildlife safety or avalanche risk or things like that. They may still be in place until things thaw out enough. On top of that, the lakes you're coming to see may still be frozen. A lot of them were frozen into June this year. So that is something to be prepared for as well, if that is something that is on your bucket list. I hope that has been a good breakdown of each of the seasons, the pros, the cons, the things to consider, and the climate that you will experience during those times. Now remember that whenever you want to visit, it needs to be right for you, and I hope that today I have helped you figure that out. I think Canada has incredible things in every season, and I don't think I could ever pick just one. So I hope you can do that yourself. In my opinion, May, June, or September, October, I think are some of the better and more ideal months to come if you're trying to get a little bit of everything. I would even personally narrow that down as far as September, October, because this is when you're still going to have the remainder of summer weather. Lakes will definitely be unfrozen. You may start getting hints of like fall and winter coming through as well, but it's going to be shoulder season, so it's going to be less crowded. I just love these months. Thanks for sticking with me through this video. Let me know what your preferred month to visit in or season to visit in would be in the comments. I would be so interested to hear what everyone's thoughts are. But otherwise, make sure you click that subscribe button to keep coming along with me on my journeys, and I'll give you all the travel tips and info for Canada and other places around the world. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.